Welcome, fellow travelers. I'm Almark Raine, and I'm joining Chibi and Vertec at the Golden Feather. Come on in, grab a seat, and let's share tales of adventure.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Golden Feather Tavern, where your hosts, Chibi and Vertec, discuss Ashes of Creation and important topics spoken about within the Ashes community. Every week we invite you, the viewer, and a special guest to pull up a chair, grab a pint, and join the conversation with us. Today is the 29th of September, 2023. Oh, that was supposed to be a surprise. He wasn't supposed to pop up like poof like that. Oh, yes, you're not playing nice. But anyway, we have episode 181, the Reign of Events, and we have our traveling bard with us, as you can see in the dandy little portal that decided to poof instead of la 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 into existence. Almark Raine, how are you today?
Doing pretty good, guys. Appreciate you letting me on the show.
Of course, welcome in.
Oh, we appreciate you stopping by.
Decided to pop into the portal anyway because the Duke answers only to himself.
Who cares about cues?
They're overrated. That's what all the other shows do. All the other ones that don't have an engaging audience.
Fair enough. So, the other lovely face over there is Chibi. And how are you today, Chibi?
I'm doing well. Glad to be here. By the way, we have no affiliation with the city that you have spoken of. We are everywhere and nowhere all at once. You're going to have to bring up your grievances to your local government. Sorry.
We continue to get a lot of complaints about the potholes in the area, but we figure that it makes for a spicy road.
Yeah, I mean, all I can say is, we have our guest here through the portal. He's not physically here, so I'm sorry. If you do throw any tomatoes, they will go through the portal and hit our wall, so please don't do that. But you can feel free to throw coin. We do accept those. Just try not to hit us, please.
The entire back of the bar is built like this specifically to be a thrown coin collection plate. So, feel free to throw them all you want. But, anywho, so, you know what I gotta do? I need to introduce our guest and say, hey, who are you? What do you do? And, what has you super mega interested in the world of Vera?
Well, we actually came together as a guild several months ago. House Raine is a role-playing guild. Over the years, the founding 7 members of the Raine family, which they all play different members. Obviously, I play Almark, and everybody else has found their way into the family tree somehow. We started off in different areas, some at Star Wars, the Old Republic, some in World of Warcraft. We decided to come together because the roleplay communities was starting to sprout here. And we found out really that the game was going to be extremely, I don't want to say too appealing to role players because I didn't know enough about it at the time, but especially going forward, and some of the things from this latest live stream talk about the integration of roleplay aspects and things about the environment that are definitely going to be beneficial from a storytelling perspective. So we all came together and made this House Raine, where no day is a peaceful day. So, as Chibi has discovered this evening.
Never peace.
So, right now we're in the process of writing our prologue on Sanctus and what little information has been released about it. And the current thought process is we role-play out together the prologue to the game, and whenever the game goes live, we will have transitioned to Vera along with everybody else in the game, and we'll have our fresh new start, but with character history between them. And fortunately, we have quite a bit of time left to make those connections and meet new people and bring them along for the adventure.
Nice. I like it. I guess what drew you to Ashes specifically? Like, why Ashes of Creation?
Full disclosure, I've always been kind of a PvP goon. The sieges were the first thing that I was told about. Somebody told me there was a game coming out with full-scale guild sieges on castles, and that was what got me to look at the game. Once I saw the makeup of the game, how integrated the guilds were, the pretty much the way the game could be painted completely by the players, and the way that the environment would be created and characters would have agency over their world in a way that I'd never seen in a game before. That was really the final straw to go ahead and give this game a full shot.
Awesome. I really like that. For those that have never role played in a game before, what are your thoughts or any advice that you might have?
So something that I get some surprise with is whenever I have someone that's never been a role player before, or they've never tried it, I commonly tell them that you kind of already have been. Up to this point, when you play a game, whether it's Ashes of Creation or another MMO or Call of Duty or whatever your poison is, you are inserting yourself into this world and playing that character and playing along with the motivations that they have. So really the only difference between a role player and someone that might think of themselves as not a role player is whether or not you only intend to avail yourself of the campaign or the story that comes baked into the game, or if you want to find a handful of strange friends and make one yourself. And me personally, over the years, I've found a lot more engagement and satisfaction with making our own stories, and then also enjoying the one that's in the game, because they've been pretty good so far. But everything past that, as far as not being a role player and being a role player, is just a measure of degrees.
Right. And today we're going to be talking about the event system a little later, and how that allows for kind of like role playing as well as quest hooks, which I really like a lot, because as somebody who's been getting better at DMing my own D&D game, as the DM with trying to engage my players and allow them to role play out different things, having quest hooks that hook into the main part of the quest, still the main overarching storyline, I suppose you could say, has been an interesting thing. So it's kind of unique seeing how in some other games, whether you role play individually or you try to role play as your character going through that story, how they kind of are trying to make sure that all roads lead to the same destination, kind of. And then another question that I had was, where do you see yourself going? You're relatively a smaller, newer guild within Ashes of Creation for roleplay. So where do you see your future heading?
Well, right now, and this is a new experience for me, we're getting into a game that's still a ways off. I've never joined an MMO prior to its launching. So right now, the big goal is to enjoy our roleplay atmosphere. If we didn't gain a single more person, it would still be okay. If we kept, I think right now we're at 13 people, not counting the guests we have in our server. We could not pick up a single more person, and we would still have these stories that we could enjoy together. And I tend to make a protagonist or antagonist out of my character for everybody else's story enjoyment purposes. But I gotta admit, some small part of me hopes that maybe more people see this rich storytelling, and they see all the fun we're having in our server, as again, Chibi has discovered the hard way this evening. And they want to come join, and they want to get a little piece of that and attach themselves to the story. And maybe our guild gets large enough that we have a larger presence in the game. And that's really what I'm looking for, to be the de facto area people go to when you think of engaging, fun storytelling. Like I want House Raine to be just the first name that pops up when people talk about it.
Nice. I like it. And on that note, this is, as you mentioned, this is a game that's in development. It's not out yet. What do you think are the perks of being a roleplay guild on a brand new game, with there being potential many different servers that different roleplay guilds can kind of spread out on. But even if they didn't, this is a brand new game. You're starting at the very, very beginning, and it's very player driven. So what kind of things do you think lends itself to having a roleplay guild and the perks of that compared to other games?
Well, part of it is the age of those communities. When you think about even games I've never played before, like Guild Wars or Arc Age, you're dealing with communities that are already built. You're engaging with people that are already known names. They're you never know who you're going to be trying to interact with, and it can feel like you're the outsider in the equation. At least with a game like this, everyone's coming in. Everyone's a stranger. Unless you happen to bring along some friends from another community, you're not competing with anyone. You're not worrying about making a friend or an enemy of somebody that is an established name in the community. Nobody's established. We're all brand new.
Right.
It's the perfect chance for someone to get into something without having that social pressure of being the outsider, because we're all outsiders.
That's fair. I like that. That's really cool. And I think Ashes will provide a unique perspective for that, and a unique entrance for role players, and just having your mark in the world in a unique manner. Vertek, did you have any other questions for our guest?
I think you got pretty much everything covered.
Okay.
He's trying to figure out how I got the portal to open early. Don't worry, he's a little wrapped up in that.
Yeah, we did have some technical difficulties regarding the portal. I'm glad we were able to put them aside, though, and figure them out.
Yes, technical difficulties abounded.
Abounded, indeed. On that note, we are going to go ahead and shift into talking about the primary topics. Well, actually, before we get into the hot topics in general, I think there's especially a spicy one that we can touch on real quick. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, if you
Spice is the spice of life.
Spice is the spice of life. If you were not a part of the live stream earlier today, and if you have been very busy with work or other things, as many of us are, Intrepid announced today that Ashes of Creation's Alpha 2 is going to be in 2024 officially. Steven has said that he noticed the speculation going around in the community about the Alpha 2 dates, and they said that they're not going to announce any specific dates, but that they will talk about like a general quarter when things get closer, and then upon things getting even more close, a specific date for that. So Alpha 2 is only accessible to those that have Alpha 2 access. And if you have Alpha 1 access, or if you have PI access, you can still take part in the pre-test, but you have to have Alpha 2 access for that. That being said, the Unseen Order, which is their last package, is available until January 17th of 2024. So, yeah. Hello, Nara, welcome in. And hello, Twisted Hem, welcome in. But yes, we're very excited for that. What do you think? Did that line up with what you initially were guessing?
It was. So, well, I don't know about guessing, but hoping. 2024. A lot of folks, I think you guys included, have been part of this game's community for way longer than I have. So the wait on your side has been probably a lot more excruciating. Although I don't know when it got updated, but I was under the impression that September was going to be the last day for any sort of pre-order that would give Alpha 2 keys. And fortunately, a bunch of people, probably a couple which are listening to this right now, can be comforted to know that that's not going to be for a while. They still have time. You don't have to go beg on the corner to get it bought by tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. And I think maybe it may have been misconstrued where like September was the last pack, but because packs usually are only a month,
pardon me, I think that may have been like September's the last time, but there was a bit of Q&A. Vertec and I ended up going through the FAQ part for it and found out a little bit more details on that. But yeah, it's not like a super big announcement, but honestly, for those of you that don't really follow Ashes of Creation closely like we do, you probably were wondering, like, when is it? And you probably didn't really catch on that he said it's not around the corner, but it's not years away, like he had previously said. So this is just more of a finite, it's happening in 2024, just so that you guys can stop asking if it's going to be 2025.
Yeah. No
I
Alpha
think we
2
all
in
breathe
2032.
Oh, no. Game goes live right about when I'm drawing Social Security.
Rip.
Yeah, no more of that. No more worrying. We know Alpha 2 is coming in 2024. Yay! I'm still hanging on around mid-year. As far as when it's actually popping out.
Oh.
Hanging on mid-year, like summer, maybe early fall. That's my guess. I'm sticking to it.
I feel like me guessing is going to like jinx it. I'll say, oh, maybe by summer, and then December 31st rolls around, and that's when A2 goes active.
I don't think it'd be that far.
That's when you guess December or like winter. Say winter.
Yeah, I think it'll be the last day of 2024, so it can only get better.
Yeah.
It can only be wrong in a good direction.
Yeah, November, December. Maybe you'll skew it in the opposite direction. It'll pop out in like March.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with Nair. I think, yeah, if nothing else, spot test this summer. Vertec, did you get the video that I showed you with the newest live video?
I have not gotten that to my hard drive yet, no.
Oh, okay.
It's taking a bit.
Okay,
I keep checking.
Okay.
Every once in a while, if you hear me get distant for a second, that's what I'm doing. I'm checking on that.
Okay, gotcha. So we're going to cover specifically from today's live stream, the reward system, the event types, and also how to trigger these events, because I think they're really, really interesting. But because you are our guest, Almark, I'll let you choose. Which of the three topics do you want to start with?
We got to start with the events.
Got to start with the events. Okay.
We got to start with the events.
The event types or how they get triggered?
I'm going to go with types because you know why I'm here.
Yes, I do know why you're here. So the cool thing with the event types that we found, because they had one engineer, I believe. Yes, one engineer and two designers. So Clayton, their engineer, and Scott and Amy, their designers, joined them for their live stream video. And they were talking about the different types of events that could happen within Ashes of Creation. And the one that we are going to be showing on screen and the one that they showed on the live stream was PvE, but apparently there are some PvP events as well. I think we've kind of seen that before, with the player-driven caravan stuff where you can choose to attack or defend the caravan if you're escorting it. But apparently also some other types of events that we could see are puzzles, roleplay type of events like attending a funeral for an NPC. There are events where you can observe or just be a part of helping people and building up the world of Vera. And events can obscure NPCs or things that you need to interact with, so getting help from others will kind of allow you to quickly complete that event so you can get access to NPCs. That's like a downside, but it also makes sense. I think they kind of hint at that in this live stream a little bit, where they said the bandits are coming from a nearby POI, and that with that event up, that it's possible that those bandits would be attacking other NPCs until that event gets resolved later. So I thought that was really unique, but we'll just stop right at that part. What do you think of those so far?
Honestly, you touched on it a little bit when we got to the RP event, because I have never in a game seen an event like a table of event possibilities that included some sort of role play event. Yeah, and it's not, and obviously I intend to go through with it and see it myself. And I really wish they had expounded more upon how they were going to measure the engagement levels of roleplay events. Because if they're testing these in a certain way, like if you do X amount of damage or whatever it is, that that affects your joining of the event, then for something like a roleplay event, I would imagine just off the top of my head that it's got something to do with the interactions with the other characters.
Yeah.
And part of me has that little hope that, you know, if a dev team is going this far as to actually bake into the game a roleplay random event, then what else might they add to the game later?
Right.
And it shows an acknowledgement of a community that can be extremely loyal to a platform. If they just the gesture by itself, even if they don't go to the event, just showing that they remember that chunk of players is huge news for me. Even though obviously I'm still looking forward to the content part of it too, because I mean, let's not kid ourselves. I'm still looking forward to blowing stuff up as an archwizard.
Yeah. Well, I imagine because they mentioned that events will have objectives, it would probably be objective based. So, and Nair kind of touches on this. What are the objectives in a funeral? I wonder. Typing the /cry emote at specific times, get them all right, and you get rewarded by a legendary hanky.
Hey, you say that jokingly, but if there was a legendary hanky, there would be role players trying to get it.
Oh, probably. Absolutely. I remember playing some games and they're like, oh yeah, this thing that you think is a trash thing is actually selling for a lot because role players want it. And I was like, oh, okay. Here you go.
Yes. Anyone that played WoW remembers the Blood Elf Bandit mask.
The fun thing about this, though, also just to add into it, events are expected to be about 20 minutes of gameplay. So they're going to be relatively short loops of gameplay. But I like that. And I believe they also said you can't like continuously trigger it over it. Press F and chat repeatedly. Oh, for the funeral, yeah. But I don't know, because I think that they're gonna have a few ways to pull information. I think that they're going to be able to grab details from the world, seeing how long you're within a zone of influence for that event. Or potentially seeing if you reach certain milestones, because again, going back to the puzzle thing, right? Puzzles are fun. I don't like jumping puzzles. I'm very bad at them. Vertec can confirm this. But I do like puzzles. I like, well, maybe I have to use a skill on this thing to get it to do that thing, and then it'll open up a door. I like those kind of puzzles. And they did hint at class kits playing a part, but not always. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I can confirm. As soon as a puzzle involves a space bar, it's a no-go. Or it's a night. Just plan to be there for the night.
Yeah, because
agree.
I will fall repeatedly and then remind myself to not get frustrated at me falling repeatedly.
Yeah.
No, I'll at least say that she's a good sport about it, though. Because there was at least one in Guild Wars 2 that was a big, long, winding thing that went all the way up into the sky and across a mountain. I think we sat there for like 45 minutes. It took some people about like 2 minutes to climb to the top, and we sat there for about 40 minutes for her and one other person to get up there. Yeah.
I love how he's trying to say just one other person. Chibi's like, it was me. I was the one other person.
Yeah, no, it was basically me. I think the other person kept falling because that person was trying to stay with me. And I kept
it's
missing.
The top that counts.
Yeah. But Vertec, what are your thoughts about the different types of
I think that this might only be a little bit of a flavor, like a little flavor dip into how many different types of events I'll have. But that being said, I don't know how they presented it, because I was the day job.
You were very busy.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, one second,
all the way up until right before we started streaming, so I missed the entire thing. So I'm going purely by notes, and it sounds like they probably have a few other things up their sleeve eventually.
Yes, they are. Either they have done it and I can't find it yet, or they're planning to put out a update or a post about the different types of events that they're going to. So like that's going to be something that you should keep an eye out for. I imagine if let's see, September 1st, September 12th, August 8th. Yeah, I imagine it's going to be within the next couple of weeks or days. because they had the August development live stream where they had like the slideshow and everything. So it's potential that you'll probably see in October, beginning of maybe the 2nd or the 3rd. So very excited. Also, another role play thing, and I just want to know, so does you/Boomsta, who is Ariok? Who is this Ariok person? There was a NPC that Steven interacted with, and it said, praise Ariok. And this person, Boomsta, has narrowed it down. So Ariok must be either the Phoenix god of creation, the goddess of love, or one of 2 gods of completely unknown name and domain. Because Ariok is likely not going to be the goddess of fate, which is Norlin, the god of hope, which is Resna, and the god of truth, which is Shoal, and also definitely probably not going to be the others because, they're the antagonist gods.
I'm kind of curious if Ariok could be one of the others, and this is kind of me being a nerd for a second, but
okay,
off the top of my head, I'm fairly certain Ariok was an official who put a king in the Bible to death. He was in charge of killing the wise men in the Bible. That sounds very other-y, but I don't know what his inspirations were for these different characters.
That's fair.
Ariok is always the name I've associated with evil.
That's fair. I was just thinking because one thing that I clipped, one thing that the NPC says to him is, I was hoping we could resolve these things peacefully, but clearly that was not left on Sanctus. And so to me, I think if you're praising a god of the other, you're not thankful that somebody has stopped a fight against you. I feel like they would be more pro fighting and conflict, because the others seem to be more chaos and evil incarnate almost.
That's fair.
So I was like, it wouldn't make sense to me for it to be the others just because he's like, oh, thank God, basically.
God, now I got it. And this is one of the more frustrating parts about, creating a roleplay community. When you have the lore that hasn't been fully revealed yet, and you have to be careful about going too far into it because you might accidentally do or say something that wouldn't have been compliant with the box the lore creates.
Right.
So which is kind of why we're doing our own thing at the moment and sort of creating our own content till we find out. And now I have to wait to find out who Ariok is.
You're like, crap, now there's another person.
Yes, there's another name I have to learn.
You know what? Nara brought up something that I would kind of have to agree with.
Okay.
And that's my main takeaway isn't so much the different types of events, but how well they tie them to actual locations and happenings in the world. For example, if you see bandits attacking a caravan, can you count on a bandit camp being nearby somewhere? If they can make every single event believable and integral to existing POIs and such, with multiple fail or success event branches, they will have done what no other MMORPG has done. IMO.
Oh, I think they basically hinted that the bandits that they're fighting, the knights that they're fighting, are from a nearby bandit camp from a POI where the bandits have taken over, and so they will attack the other NPCs in the area until that gets resolved. But also the other thing that he mentions is at the end of this, the NPC that gives you the treasure, or gave him the treasure, also gives him a quest that ties back into the overarching storyline. So if you didn't grab the hook for the nearby node where that main storyline is happening, you can pick it up from events, is essentially what he's suggesting. So I kind of view events in this case as little random encounter hooks in terms of a TTRPG, right? Little random encounter hooks that can get you and your players back on track to the main overarching storyline. In case they got distracted or forgot or just didn't pick up whatever. Because sometimes people are just like, no, I'm not going to go into the village. Well, the village is where the next person's main quest line would have been, so now you have to figure out a way to like get your players to go into that village. And I think this is really cool.
That's honestly like reading Narer's question just now. something else that I got out of it was it's easy for events to pop up. You get your 20 minutes of gameplay, and here's your reward, and now go on to the next thing. Or if it's something like if it's tied to a location and you finish an event, are you then going to be afforded the opportunity to follow the branches of the next few small events that come along, like the consequences of having participated in that? Which obviously, like, I've never seen a game that really followed that kind of thought process through. So if I saw that sort of that infrastructure built into the game, that would be really different.
Yeah. No, I have a lot of excitement surrounding the event systems just based off of what we saw today for the prospect alone. And I'm hoping that they're able to kind of, like Nair said, deliver on that.
Yeah.
From what I
makes
just
everything
explained,
feel much more tangible and solid, like the world exists. See, and I think this is kind of a derivative of the example I like to use with books that make a world feel alive when people are talking about events and places, but you don't actually go there in the book. It just it makes it feel like there are things happening in the world outside of whatever this character is staring at with blinders. Like it's a living, breathing world that you don't see, and you have to wonder about it. Your imagination just keeps it going. It's kind of a derivative of that because you're just here for the caravan, but then there's a bandit attack. Now there's got to be there might be bandits around. I hope we didn't take the caravan near the camp. Well, maybe we can circle back later. Oh, there is a camp. Holy cow.
Yeah. I think that's just really awesome.
It's treating an event like it's part of a larger world instead of just an isolated event, which is a big deal.
Right. I feel like this kind of goes into the next topic. I feel like it just more naturally goes into how events kind of originate. And I thought this was really cool. They kind of went a little bit more into in-depth in it. So events can hook into any dynamic world state to trigger the events or to inform the event of the progression that is happening. So in this example, they were just killing something, which they've confirmed to be called an activity map. So to start off this event, they had to just kill creatures in the area. And that is what ultimately triggers this particular PvE caravan situation, which I thought that was also interesting. I'm going to take a side note on that just for a second. The caravan situation came about because essentially there were like, I guess maybe a node relationship changing happening nearby, where maybe two nodes were trying to be friendly with each other, or maybe weren't being so friendly with each other. And so because that relationship between the nodes was advancing in a way or not, it potentially popped it. But also there may have been a trade caravan kicked off in the past. So that can also proc something like this. I thought that was really, really cool. But that being said, it can be determined on the amount of resources, where you are in the story arcs, and even like the node state, things like that. I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, it's a difference between having an event out in the world and then participating in a consequence of your surroundings.
Yeah,
there's a big difference between, like I keep referencing these two games because they're the only other two MMOs I've played the past 5-6 years, but like SWTOR and WoW, like you've got the major cities and then you run out in like Durotar somewhere south of Orgrimmar and you might come across something, but it didn't feel like it was part of the world around you. Whereas Ashes appears to be taking the train of thought that these events and anything you encounter are a result of the relationships between nodes changing around you, the development of the players in the area, the towns, the decisions made around you are what are spawning these consequences in the world that you might get sucked into. So that's it seems like a far more engaging approach to it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Saya. I will fix it.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. In the last 2 weeks, I put in a whole lot of extra work hours. I've had time enough to sleep, and kind of just barely that some days.
Yeah, I'll get it though, because be excellent. I know, I'm sorry, I'll do better so I can be excellent. But Twisted Hem says, I've not got a chance to watch the live stream yet. Did they speak about how often the events would happen? If it's very often for our peers, how would you handle like a bandit attack like 4 times a day? I don't think they're going to do it that often. I believe they said that it might repeat, but it wouldn't be like very often. It wouldn't be something that like 5 minutes later the bandit camp happens again. It kind of gave me more of like bigger things are triggering these instead of mindless triggers that are just happening randomly. I feel like the smaller random events are things that we saw during Alpha 1, where you're like walking through an area and then there's just like a random little side quest event trigger that was like, kill 20 of these whatever creatures, and those creatures would be nearby, for example. So I see something like that being more common than this. I feel like this is like triggered specifically because of 2 nodes having some sort of interaction with each other, is how they made it sound. But yeah, I thought that was a good question. And I'd be interested in seeing like that answer for role players, especially. That'd be a great one to put on the forums, is what I'm hinting at.
We'll see. So if some of these events are triggering off of what you do in the world, you gotta be careful to not take out so many things that make you money in one little area. You'll get bandits that are going poor. You'll have no choice but to rob you of your money.
Well, there's also, I believe, and another example they had given previously, if I remember correctly, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, is if you harvest too many things, potentially like it'll anger something nearby because you harvested too much.
Oh yeah, they were talking about like in the forest, chopping down too many trees and angering treants and stuff like that would come stomping out of there to stop you from leveling the forest.
And the super old one where you were mining ore and then a dragon happened because you were just tapping away at the mountain for days, essentially. So I don't know, I think it's cool like that. It's like your actions have consequences is kind of how it comes across. But Twisted Hem says, good to know. It's always been awkward when someone in ESO would RP, like, man, I took out that anchor. Hard to believe it's special when it happens all the time. And it's absolutely fair.
I felt that in my soul when I read that. Oh, I mean, he's got a point. It's when events are Twisted Hem. I mean, he's got a point. It's when you have the same event that pops up every 30 minutes in the same area, day after day or weekend after weekend, like they stop becoming events and they're just something you go farm, and then it becomes a monotonous. Yeah, behold the 35th anchor in the past half hour.
Oh my god!
Behold, citizens of Azeroth. Oh my god! Stop!
No.
Yeah, it's like now we have to act like apocalypse is coming for like the 13th time in the past couple hours.
Yeah. Oh no, the apocalypse is coming.
Yeah, and so with events like this, hopefully if they aren't recycled the way they said they're not going to be, it can still feel like the world is breathing around you instead of you just farming the world for your latest 35 gold and some wool. Yeah, I could see that. Oh, okay, there we go. I grabbed it. Sorry, I was grabbing this because I felt like it was kind of related. I posted this on the Reddit and the forums for Ashes of Creation, and I was asking people what kind of wave-based events, like what are some examples of wave-based events that you enjoyed. And a couple of people talked about Rift and ESO and Guild Wars, but the thing that I kind of got from them, the vibe in general that I got from them, was they thought they were cool, but when they're happening so often, it's like, oh, it's happening again. Like it just, you get that exhaustion from it. And that's also why I don't play games like 7 Days to Die, because it's just, after a period of time, I can only handle so many waves of zombies coming after me before I'm like, okay, I need something different, please. Like,
but you didn't slay the last wave.
So I don't think Chibi had any way of knowing this, but my guild just started playing 7 Days to Die as a way to just hang out. Strangely enough, and I agree with Chibi, like you can only get worked up so many times in a row for the event thing. Mm-hmm. If it's every 7 days, the same thing happens. And I know I keep going back to these games. For anyone that played World of Warcraft when Wrath of the Lich King was about to be released, they had these pre-launch events where a plague was spreading amongst the players. And you'd have this really irregular issue where you'd have a wave of these infected players running into the city, like priests trying to purge them and stuff like that, and it felt random. There was no predicting when this was going to happen. Everything would be fine. I'm buying a handful of ham on the auction house for 3 silver that I spent the past half hour farming, and then all Hades breaks loose and the zombies are everywhere. And it was insane amounts of fun, and it wasn't even it wasn't meant to be end game content, but I had more fun doing that than anything else in an MMO ever, because there was no predicting it. You could go days with nothing happening, and then the city's abandoned because the zombies took it over. Like, we had to go into the countryside to do our trading, and because they were everywhere, and stuff like that. The irregularity of it is what made it fun. It wasn't predictable. 37th Apocalypse today wasn't happening.
Yeah. Asaya says, "Oh, that plague, I remember."
Yeah, it was that plague and that system actually. Small bit of useless knowledge, but that plague and the players that reacted to it was so compelling that the real CDC, the Center for Disease Control in the US, conducted a study on it.
Interesting. Really? That's funny.
Hand to God that happened. That's Googleable information.
I love that.
That's fantastic. So completely random side shoot for a second, but do you think it'd be any different? Like, if you were, say, playing a game that was about a character that got isekai'd in, and you're walking around and literally all the villagers would just go about their business. Oh no, not General Evil Pants. Somebody save us. But they're just like slowly walking down the street, just like shopping for bread, reaching over, grabbing a newspaper. Whatever will we do?
It's like an episode of Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh God, Dr. Robotnik. Yeah, I'll get the number 3 with fries.
That's funny. I can honestly imagine, like, especially you as role players, like after a certain period of time of those events happening over and over, you're like, oh no, it's happening again.
Yeah.
Goes off and role plays in this corner.
Yeah, and the greatest chance to make your own content. Shameless plug.
True story.
So I guess the next thing that we can cover is the reward system for participating in an event. And now this sounds like to me that they're still trying to balance this, but they were talking about how they look at how much you are healing and or damaging, as well as how much time you're spending participating, compared to how much time the event takes place. One wool seems like an OP reward. Yeah, I'm getting there. They actually said that this is currently how much time you have been a participant as compared to the entire time of the event. So when Alpha 2 is happening, I think that's what we're going to be expecting. But I think they're intending on kind of trying to play around with that and find something that really fits for that. And Steven kind of brought up that as the event winds down, you will get rewarded with either a bronze, silver, or gold tier reward status, and that would determine the type of rewards you get, aka the type of reward table. And each person gets their own reward table that their reward gets rolled off of. And I thought that was really interesting. Another thing to notice is upon completion of the event, a little toast thing pops up with like a little treasure chest in the middle. And it announces to collect your spoils. So it's kind of like, hey, you're done. Yeah, but yeah, Steven got one wool. And then somebody else got something. I think that was like a little bit more of a rare like item, or I don't know what the thing is called right now. Things you can like harvest, etc. But he did mention that Also, as soon as you complete the event thing, you automatically get a certain amount of gold, a certain amount of XP. But the physical things like wool or any other material item, those you get from a chest, and every event will have a chest to grab rewards from at the end. Whatever you can hold on your person, essentially, will be in that chest.
Oh, okay. Now, did they mention perhaps if it was... Oh, I forgot to make this video loop, I think.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Oop.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Black screen of death.
Okay. Now,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mention...
That was the slow burn going into a new loop.
It was to let it simmer real quick, just let you ponder the last couple moments of the video, and then start it back up. Clean your palate. Mm-hmm. But did they mention if it was going to be so individual table and individual roll, or is it group table, individual roll?
Your personal loot table that your item gets rolled on is dependent on the tier that you get of reward status. So, for example, I'll just use the three of us. You're a tank, and I'm a healer typically. So, if I am running around healing people, and I don't need to do too much healing, but I'm participating most of the time, I might get, let's say, silver. If you are tanking people, but also just maybe not hitting them as much for whatever reason, but you kind of joined in a bit late, you might get bronze. And if Almark over here is taking down all these enemies and making sure to keep them away, this is my words, this is not Intrepid's words, this is just an example. Almark might get the gold tier. So basically there's a roll table for gold, a roll table for silver, and a roll table for bronze, and we each get attributed a tier reward status, and that would determine the types of rewards that we get. So I would have essentially the silver loot table, if you will. You would have the bronze loot table, and Almark would have the gold loot table to get rolled off of in terms of TTRPG speak in general. So it's more like that loot is your loot, but your loot is determined based on how much experience or participation that you joined in with, if that makes any sense. Okay.
Well, so I know oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's just one question I have to ask off of that. And I know this is going to seem oddly self-serving, but when it comes to things like what you're describing, like damage and damage taken and being a healer and all this, these are all quantifiable things to get one of those levels of individualized loot. And I can't help but wonder, how are they going to do that with the roleplay events?
And that's what I was wondering as well.
There's actually Brecker himself in the Twitch chat actually made a joke about it earlier, but I just linked back to it. He said it was like a funeral equals, pressing F to pay respects. Does that get you bronze or platinum?
Right.
And it's I really am holding out a little bit of hope that if they have these role play events, I wonder if it'll bring people down there that are looking for loot the chance to, they meet a group of role players and actually interact with them, and maybe after the event's over, they're like, hey, that was kind of fun. And what happens after that?
I mean, I'm just saying, bind F to your mouse scroll wheel. It's a secret for that event right there.
Just spam respect.
I have concerns about that type of system, and I know everything's up for change during testing and all, but my concern is going to be that during Alpha 2, when that's actually tested by a large group of people, that's going to be the griefing. Because it's going to be, say, some level 20s trying to do something, and an event comes around and they're doing pretty decent with it. They're holding their own. By the time, the thing would end, they could probably end up getting a silver. But then a level 35 is going to roll through and just smash everything to bits. And they're going to take gold, and everyone else is going to end up with a bronze or worse. Maybe they'll make the bronze table because the other person just wipes everything out.
Do you think level scaling would fix that at all?
I think, if I can recall correctly, I think they mentioned something about like the different levels I think they're trying to incorporate different levels of the players that are joining, because I know that one thing that I didn't have planned to talk about today, unless we had extra time, was that the difficulty level changes as more people join into the raid. But additionally, it's dependent on how much time that you had spent at the event. So at the beginning of this video, there's only 4 of them, and they're a group. But the event system will recognize when other people come to join into the event that it'll go from a group event up to a raid event. And with that becomes a new level of difficulty, and the game kind of recognizes that. I don't think necessarily that means somebody is going to come through and take like gold from people. But I mean, I do hear your concern for it. I think we'll have to see how that plays out. They didn't really touch on how they would handle different level of players, but I don't think that your higher level player should have anything to do with having more or less participation, right? But I could see how that could be potentially an issue, especially when we talk about things like how much you are healing and or damaging being a prospect.
Yeah, I mean, on top of it being really hard to quantifiably add in things like tanking, also self-interest right here, because tank like most of the time. But so how do you quantify how much somebody participated as a tank? Like, was I taunting everything? Was I don't know, how many individual impacts did I have with my weapon versus how much damage I output?
Yeah.
Does damage avoidance count? Does literally avoiding it by walking out of damage count?
I would certainly hope that the metric that they use for somebody in Vertex situation would be amount of damage taken. If you're receiving 9 times the amount of damage than the party around you, then hopefully the system would take that into account when it comes to deciding your level of loot table.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, I understand like all of this is down for testing. It's going to be adjusted.
Absolutely.
I'm just kind of the first things that come to mind is going to be there's like, for instance, let's just call it pure damage output. You have just damage dealers, right?
Uh-huh.
Us 3 are there. We're just damage dealing, just shooting stuff. They're all dying. We're doing, for random numbers' sake, like a combined 10,000 damage per minute or whatever. And then along comes somebody that's like 10 levels higher, and they can do 10,000 damage in like 5 seconds. And so they immediately, instead of us having a 5-minute event, they make it a 30-second event by killing everything. Even though we were there for like 3 minutes out of it. And we were kind of struggling, but we were doing it. And then they come in and wipe everything out in the last 2 minutes. Yeah. Or even for that matter, they come up and they start knocking everything out from the first minute. And then we suddenly don't have any actual participation besides just existing.
That may have been something that was part of the Q&A that I did not get a chance to, because I not only took time away from work to do this, but I did it right after work as well, just to make sure I got as best of notes as I possibly could. So there are some things that I personally have not been able to re-go over because work called me away and then I didn't have time to get back to it. But I do remember them talking something about that, and that was probably part of the Q&A segment right after the events that I just personally did not get a chance to get to. But if they haven't talked about it, then yeah, that would be a great thing for a feedback question, which they already have their feedback forum up and available for you to give your thoughts and your worries and your opinions. And I can go grab that for you real quick.
And, you know, it everybody talks about Alpha 2 being the chance to, you know, really play the game. And, you know, and it's a great opportunity to finally like get behind the wheel of these characters when the game goes, you know, to Alpha 2. But like Vertec and Chibi both, you know, bring up great points about, you know, concerns they have for the game that need to be tested. Mm-hmm. And if anyone that plays Alpha 2 really is invested in the game's future, remember to also be treating this like a tester yourself. Like you're like, put yourself in the mindset of somebody that is trying to help Intrepid put out the best game possible. If you see something and you want to make a suggestion or an improvement to the game, that's your chance to make yourself heard.
Yeah.
So, because we are all building this game, if they're relying on us for feedback, they want us to try to break it to see how well they put it up.
Oh my gosh. But I do want to say that Steven even kind of gave like a little bit of not really like a preface to the whole Alpha 2 thing, but he said, while it may be fun at times or a good amount of times, hold on one second. Sorry. I had a weird hiccup. Also, an ad has started, so this part is a great point for maybe not just being too like specific on our chats, but basically he mentioned that during Alpha 2, if you are taking part in Alpha 2, be expected to test the game. And he kind of was trying to hint at, like, I understood what he was saying because I've tested video games either for money or for fun before. But it's sometimes not fun. It's going to be tedious. And the end goal of Alpha 2 is not to necessarily be fun. They're hoping that it's fun while you're testing. They do want you to enjoy it, but the end goal is to make the end goal fun. So at the end of it, during all of the Alpha 2 testing, the hope is all of that testing will make the final game more fun. So you're going through a little bit of suffering of like, okay, do this again, now do this again, now do this again, now do this again. Or, hey, I'm going to summon you guys all, and you're going to have to fight 5,000 bears over and over for server performance reasons. I promise. But I think that's a good thing to like remind. But yeah, it's one of those. We are very excited for Alpha 2. We cannot wait for there to be an Alpha 2 testing environment up and running. I've seen a lot of people in the forums asking, hey, I bought access to Alpha 2. I noticed that I have a key. Why can't I play the game? And I'm just kind of like, I'm pretty sure the engine is not live I believe they took it down from Alpha 1. So I'm pretty sure the engine just isn't live and you can't get into it. I'm sorry.
And you know, it's hard to justify contributing to a game that's not out yet, because you know, you run into so many games that they crowdsource their funding, and you know, they ask for pre-orders and then they go bottoms up, and I'm sure we can all think of a few examples of that. But you know, when it comes to games like Ashes of Creation, where they're trying to do things that are pushing the boundaries of MMOs, they're doing events differently. They're trying to give an unprecedented amount of player agency over the world. It's something that, you know, me personally, if I get the chance, even if I'm not going to contribute or be part of the Alpha 2, it's my chance to, you know, kick in my little piece to help make this happen, because, you know, the money talks on, you know, in the business world. So this is our chance to contribute to that, and still test and try to break it.
Right, exactly. And I think while it might be monotonous to have those testing phases, if you're not used to actually testing a game that is in development, I think it'll still pay off. Where subscribers don't see ads. Oh no.
I'm just saying, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So, you know,
and I'm on the show, and
yeah.
I'm on this podcast, and he got me with that one too. Like,
but I will say we are far away from our goal of 30 subs for September as it's closing. But our general goals are for our charity event that we're doing in October, pre-Intrepid's charity event. So what we did last year is we did our own Extra Life charity event where you could either donate straight through our link to go towards the overall charity event, or you can donate to us directly, and then we take your money and then we have fun messing with Intrepid during their charity event. So I think last year we cursed them a couple of times. We gave them a couple of nat 20s, and we helped kind of get to some of those lore goals. And I stayed up all night trying to get keys so I can give them out to people in the community. So
yeah, I think we ended up with a total of 700 and change, like 725 or something like that, and like 4 of it was money that was donated throughout the month for us to dump during the live stream.
Yep. And this year we're trying to beat that, but also we're doing a lot more community playing games, so you guys can come join us and join into some of the chaos and bring your own chaos into our world. We'd love that. Nara says, just to repeat myself about this. 1 second, let me just grab that because I think that's a good point.
Well, while you're grabbing that, I mean, I guess I'll also say that, and for those that just want to bring terror and mayhem, we absolutely don't like that stuff. So if you bring it to us, it will probably make a sad face.
Yes, please don't get us to 60 subs so that I don't have to play a terrifying Souls-like game. Thank you.
Whoa, hang on. We need to address that one.
So Nara
60
said,
subs and Souls what now?
Nope. Nara said, just to repeat myself about this, alpha burnout is real, very real. I burned out in Lord of the Rings Online Alpha and a couple of others. I am going to try and be really careful about it in Ashes. And yes, because I mean, game burnout in general is real. I burned out on World of Warcraft. I burned out on Final Fantasy, although the reason I burned out on both of those are very different. World of Warcraft was the lack of people to play with. Final Fantasy was the people that we were playing with couldn't make up their minds and then made us constantly changing our jobs, which made me just log out one day and never log back in.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in seeing like what kind of things Alpha has to bring, but I have some ideas in mind that I'm kind of keeping to myself because I want to do little surprisey things. But I think it'll be a way of bringing, like you mentioned, your own content to the game. If the game doesn't have the content that you're looking for, make up your own kind of thing. I think that'd be really fun. So I can't wait to share that with you guys. But yes, please do be careful because this isn't the finished game. There will be times where we have to redo things. It's an alpha.
Yeah. I'm kind of looking forward to that part of it because one of the reasons that I know some people that don't really care too much about reporting bugs and stuff when they're leveling up during the level up process is because it wasn't a huge thing and they're going to pass right by it and they'll never see it again, or they just have to do an unstuck command and then they just go about their day.
Right.
But if we're going to be in an alpha and the character is going to get wiped at the end of the thing anyway, I'm going to go ahead and report every bug I find. I'm going to report every this I find, and if somebody else tells me about a bug or something, if they didn't report it, I'm going to go find it just so I can report it.
Yeah.
Get all that stuff taken care of.
Definitely agree. It's the point of playing Alpha 2 is to be their testers. We're quality checking them. We're trying to break it. And if you succeed in breaking it, tell them so nobody else can do it when the game goes live. Like this is an important part of a game's development when they stress test it, when they push it to the absolute limits when it comes to players thinking of ways to screw with a game that maybe the developers didn't think of. And, we all have our games in our history because I've been playing video games my whole life that, you have exploits and ways to mess with. They're looking for you to think of creative ways to mess with the game. And we are all quality checking it to make sure when the game goes live, the most people possible stay with it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Put in some work. To have some fun. But, no, it's one of those things. I don't know. I enjoy doing things like that. Like I'm one of those people that I will always be trying to climb to places I shouldn't be. And every once in a while, that means you're going to slide down a rock face they didn't expect you to slide down, and you're going to slip under a map or get stuck forever. Yeah, and I'm going to find all of those.
Yeah. And also along with the testing, I just found my note that I was trying to find earlier. By the way, thank you so much, Almark, because I feel like my notes are not actually all that organized. I'm sorry.
No, they are just fine.
Okay. But I found this note from Steven when he was talking about the Alpha 2. Like, it's a testing experience with a lot of wipes. So if you are going to be taking part, you're going to also experience them wiping stuff and maybe restarting the servers and things happening. So don't expect to be able to properly progress. But also, from experience, expect Steven to randomly pop on and then make you level 15 out of nowhere for no reason.
Yeah.
So
everybody gather here. We're gonna give you money, mounts, and levels. We're gonna go take on a dragon.
I mean, that's a great point. Like, don't approach Alpha 2 with the idea of progression. Approach it with the idea of when the game finally does go live, you're going to know as much as anyone else does about how the game works from the ground up. So you might have a bit of advantage, when live goes, because you make all your mistakes now. Like, do all the things you don't know, waste all the time you want.
Don't drink the poison over and over because it kills you.
Why not? Drink the poison over and over. Live your life. Don't listen to her.
I'm just saying that because I may have done it twice before I realized that's what was killing me.
Well, I'm just saying, you know what? Let Chibi drink the poison 3, 4, 5, 7, 25 times. And you know what? This is your chance to test the game, but also learn without paying a price.
Right.
And when the game goes live, it's a clean slate. But while everybody else is joining the game with no idea what's going on, you already know, and it might give you a bit of an advantage when everybody starts at 0.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. The server is going to be persistent. The characters are not.
Right.
Exactly.
Can you check your DM real quick?
I suppose I can.
Okay. But yeah, I just also wanted to kind of go, since we're a little bit in the random section / Alpha 2 talking, I actually have decided to no longer be doing my Sunday streams. I would like to dedicate a little bit more time hanging out with the fine folks of the community, and also working on some stuff for the Golden Feather on the background. So yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that in case you're like, hey, where's the Sunday stream? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll be hanging out with you in the Discords though. There's a few things that I'm trying to get. Like, there's some goals that I want to get to for us. I know we're trying to get better gear. We're trying to get the Discord server to a level 3 to, like, ideally beyond just the boost needed to get to level 3 so that we can stay level 3 in case anybody ever has a lapse for some reason.
Fingers crossed for like 22 boosts to just hang out there.
That would be so neat.
How many are you at right now? We're
at 13 out of 14. And the benefit.
How about this? Hang on a second. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Hang on 1 second.
Uh-oh, what are you doing?
Incoming.
Oh no.
Let's see.
Oh shoot, are we gonna get our custom URL back? We had it for a good hot minute.
Bang.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Fix that problem right now.
Mackerel.
I appreciate you.
Much appreciated.
We want you guys to succeed.
And
well, thank you.
We also want to make this a better community Discord. So better, if you guys do videos and stuff, better video quality and all that other stuff. So thank you.
Well, the only way these different servers are going to make it, and these different communities and guilds are going to make it, is if we're all supporting each other. So, and you guys have given me a chance to advertise my guild on your channel. So this is our way of paying it back.
Hey, we enjoying the conversation, so you're always welcome back. Yeah, if we had them.
If your avatar had hands.
I don't
it's on the list.
No, that's another thing I really want to get eventually. List. Yeah. But because I always did that live. I'm here. Hi, Naren. Welcome in. Welcome home from family. From the office.
Naren didn't think he was going to get a shout out, but there it was.
And a Fupo.
Oh, yes. Hello, Fupo. How are you? Oh, my gosh. No, we appreciate you so much. But, no, we want to help the community grow. That's been Vertec and my focus. And I'm I'm trying to get the Discord to get into a thing where if people have different community events happening, like if you have anything for Halloween, if you have anything coming up for the like winter time, I would really love to have an event feed for different communities within the Ashes of Creation community, and that's something that I'm working really hard towards. So I greatly appreciate it, because every little bit helps, be it boosting our server so that we stay at level 3 or supporting us through coming and watching us and chatting. We love interacting with you guys so very much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we certainly appreciate. Ugh, if I could stop being mush mouth. A server like yours, like your Discord server's got several people in it, and the exposure we get as a guild or as a community from role players isn't something that we easily have access to, other than like the forums for Ashes of Creation. So the chance to come on a podcast and say who we are and what we're doing, that's very valuable to us. So, and we're a very tight community, so we support the people who support us and give us the chance.
Yeah, absolutely. We were also talking about potentially, like I was at least talking about this. I thought it'd be really fun to get a bunch of role players together and do like a little one shot at some point.
Oh God, you'd have to. I would be willing to do it, but you'd have to teach me a little bit, because
that's fine.
As embarrassing as this is for a roleplay community leader, I've never done a campaign like a proper T&D one. So
hands up if you want to see me do a mini series on how to do TTRPG roleplay, because that's my bread and butter. Is that your hands up?
Yep, that's my hands up.
Do it. Yeah, no, I love TTRPG. It's just funny because I'm really bad at role playing, but I love D&D and TTRPGs in general. So I was telling your guild, the House Raine, that I would like to get better at role playing in general as a DM, because then that's gonna help me elaborate on scenes and such and really set the presence for everybody. So.
Well, it's I can tell you this: House Raine has right now 7 proper like Raine family members. I picked all of them from different areas. They didn't all know each other before we got in the server. I picked people that have taught others to role play. They've showed them, the ropes, how to get involved in the community. They're here for new people that are not familiar with the concept, or people that are just returning to it. that are just getting back into this in Ashes of Creation, and we're here to help those. Like, no one should be shy. If feel free to say I have no idea what I'm doing, or only some idea what I'm doing, and we will work with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I mean, along the way, we might have tortured Chibi a few times, but those are minor details that we should not be focusing on too much. You're right? Exactly.
Yeah, that's where that Souls thing is going to hopefully come into play.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
So speaking of the Souls thing, how many out of the 60 are you at?
We're almost to 30.
You're almost to 30, so you need 30 to 35-ish subs, and then we get to see Chibi playing Dark Souls.
My first ever, not just Dark Souls, my first ever time playing a Dark Souls game.
Yeah, and you didn't say anything Souls-like.
So when's the cutoff for that? Like, when's is there a date for that?
I believe, was it like the week before the charity stream? Just to give you time to...
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Thanks for the follow, by the way.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Welcome in new friends to the tavern. So at 30, we're doing IRL Halloween costumes for the charity event. At 40, you guys are picking our costumes. At 50, we're getting VTuber Halloween costumes for the charity event. And then at 60, I'm being terrified by chat because I'm playing a Dark Souls game.
I'm telling you, I'm going to assemble these 60 people because I want to see this.
Oh man.
Now, the thing is, I'm also, just to say this out loud, I'm also looking for help. And what I'm looking for help on is I haven't played all the way through one of those games, and I haven't played all of them. So if any of you know of a particularly terrifying but not impossible for somebody new to the game, situation that I could get into with like say 10 hours of gameplay or less.
Yeah.
I'm gonna prepare the game for her and get her to that point and say, okay, ready, set, go.
Hey,
Yeah.
Chibi, have you ever heard of a game called Phasmophobia?
I have, yes. I have played Phas. Actually, funny that you mentioned that empty fridge. I have played Amnesia. Vertech, would you like to tell them what happened when I played Amnesia? If not, I can.
Straight up walked away from the game. Like,
Yeah, I
sat
cried.
there, like huddled in a corner in like a cave, going, I can't. I'm not leaving this spot right here. I'm not leaving it.
Yeah. No, okay, I was playing it on easy mode and then I got terrified. Like legit could not move, could not convince myself to move. Terrified. And then I put it on the not actually terrifying, like the puzzle mode, whatever it is. It's not like the actual game. I still got scared and I walked away from the game.
So what you're saying is it would be far more entertaining to see you play Phasmophobia than it would be Dark Souls.
So that we are playing Phasmo. That's going to be a thing that we're going to play with the community during the charity event. So if you're interested in playing Phasmo, hit me up. I will give you a few of the time frames that we're looking to do it. But I had to play Phasmo by myself, and I refused to go into the house. And I didn't realize that you had to actually go into the house to trigger a ghost event. I just started throwing shit into the house and staying outside and hoping that I could figure it out.
Oh, you were that person that like runs back to the trailer and just throws everything through the front door.
I was by myself. I was terrified.
Ran up to the door, threw the dot thing in, ran up to the door, threw a camera in.
I didn't know you had to actually go inside. I still do.
So what you're saying is at 70 subs, you'll play Phasmophobia solo, and we all have to make you go into the house.
I mean, I would if that happened. I would, yes.
Don't tempt me.
I like this guy. Just saying. Like this guy. But yeah,
so I have to make it happen.
By the way, he terrified me by throwing a pair of socks at me one time while I was playing one of these scary games, and I think I shrieked and like threw something. Oh my gosh!
What is happening?
Hang on.
Thank you for the gift. I appreciate that. Welcome in, Genesis.
Man, I'm sorry. Our thing seems to be slightly broken. I'm gonna have to fix it. Normally, that's all.
I'll do it. Yeah. Magical sparkly sounds. Thank you for the gift. Oh my gosh. What are you doing?
Thank you.
Guys, I feel like this might have gained some traction in the past few minutes.
Little Nightmares. What's Little Nightmares?
Thank you.
I've seen it, but what does it do?
I have not actually heard of Little Nightmares. Is it kind of like you're like a person going through like a nightmare game, kind of? I don't know.
That's kind of like... It's one that, if I recall correctly, I think it's one that looks cute, but it also looks like it could be kind of scary.
Okay. Adventure game, but scary. Ooh, that actually sounds fun. I might consider that.
Cute graphic, scary theme to it. Almost like the Poppy's Playtime.
Oh, God. I say that because he was trying to get me to play that last year, and I got too scared just looking at it. I was like, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I will just say VR is a whole other level of terrifying. I just don't like it.
Wait, hang on. You have a VR headset? Okay, so if you play Phasmophobia, you have to do it with a VR headset.
No. Yes. If you do that, I will be probably... Okay, let's just put it this way. The first time I played any game in VR, because VR is just terrifying to me as it is, I wasn't even playing a scary game. I think it was just one of those wave siege games, kind of what we were just talking about, the wave-based event. But it was like waves of like these automatons coming at me, and I had to take them down. And it wasn't otherwise scary. I got so scared because I got surrounded so quickly by things. I just sat down on the ground, curled up in a ball, and said, "No, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off." And I just started crying. Yeah, no, that wasn't even a scary game in VR. So,
Fupo, you're trying to scare the neighbors. That's what would occur there.
Yeah, so good. You need to open all your doors and windows to play when you. Oh God, I will terrify the shit out of our neighbors. They will think that I'm either being attacked by someone or that I've gone out of my fucking mind. Like, there's a ghost behind me. I heard it in my ear. Like, yeah, that's what the neighbors are gonna hear.
I'm still hung up on Dylan AJW says VR. Ooh, phasmophobia and VR was life altering.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
You're not supposed to say that out loud. Now you're definitely scaring her away from it.
Well, if we get 70 subs, she's gonna have to do it anyway. So
I mean, it's an official goal now.
I mean,
I'm putting it in there as soon as we get done here.
Anyone watching this podcast should know that I did not clear that with them. I pretty much just ambushed Chibi with it, saying that at 70, she has to play Phasmophobia VR.
No.
She will probably never talk to me again.
I will do it not VR. I will do it not VR. VR is a whole other level. I don't know if I could do that.
Like, that's real terror. How often do you get to see that?
I am real terror without a VR.
I mean, it's true.
I mean,
amnesia kind of proved
the
it.
amnesia. Yep. The amnesia one proved it. I was so terrified I couldn't move. Like, I couldn't convince myself to move. I just started crying. I just didn't know what to do.
I want to say it was something like 12 minutes of a stream was sitting in one spot in a cave going, okay, yeah. Okay, I'm going. Okay, no, I'm not. Okay, I'm going. Okay, no, I'm not.
Yes. It would be the real chibi out. Like, that's part of the reason why we're like the first goal is IRL costumes for the Halloween charity stream. Is I do think it'd be more fun for you guys to see IRL me getting freaked out about that stuff. So yeah.
The fear.
Fear. No.
Yeah.
If for those of you that have not seen my actual face, I'm a very emotive person. So yeah.
And thank you for the cheers, by the way. I'm going to give a cheer to go right along with it.
Yes, thank you so much. I wasn't gonna I wasn't going to interrupt anybody. I do blush easily. Shush. There have been instances of tomato chibi happening. Just yeah, I'm not even gonna bring it up because that's gonna just make me embarrassed. Anyway, I believe it's like 9 o'clock now. Geez, we've been going for an hour and a half. We should probably wind it down.
Now it's time for Chibi to run away. But yeah,
thank you.
I really appreciate you coming on there. By the way, Almark.
Yes,
sorry,
thank you,
yeah,
I appreciate you guys letting me on here. It's been great.
Of course. No, I was really glad when you were able to make it. I was like, yes, because I wanted to get you on here somehow. Dylan asked, well, actually, Dylan said these character overlays you guys have are awesome. Where did you get them? These are our VTubers. Oh my god. Hi.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Cheers.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Did I go home so late? No worries at all. This will be up for like 2 weeks, and we'll get the one on YouTube like ASAP. Probably Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, hey, thank you.
Spending even a minute here is it shows interest and support and conversating, and we appreciate it all.
Absolutely. But we are VTubers. Our personal characters, the things that are moving around, those are made by Max Asada. Everything else that you see except for the portal is made by Supreme Phoenix, I believe. Let me double check. Okay, cool. Supreme Phoenix within the Ashes of Creation community. And I don't know if you guys would believe me or not if I told you this is actually a 3D blender of our created tavern. There's other parts of the tavern that I could show at some point, but it is because of the kindness of this individual from the community that we have a nice overlay, and I figured out how to render different pieces out of it to make the overlay. So
we have many different scenes, like our intro scene and the outro and everything is going to have or it does have components from a 3D world.
Yes.
That was created, a little 3D tavern that was created by, it's not your actual house? No, not yet. It's time. So yeah, one of the members of the community made that, which is fantastic. You can check out his work out on the forums. And by the way, there's also, I'm going to hide you for a second there, Almark, just to show people this because it's fantastic. You can check this thing out. The portal's gone. But
he made this portal too.
This whole thing right here.
And this portal is modeled after the original portals that Intrepid showcased for what we would be going through to get to Vera from Sanctus.
Yeah, these are some of the Veran portals. He made a little 3D model for us, so I can spin around. Yeah. We'll end up putting that around the little world. We can change our scenes at any time and make them all like fantastical. Yeah,
I've been really enjoying that. So
we have some fantastic friends, just saying.
Yes, I'm very grateful. The thumbnails that you see are also from the community. That's from Undead Pally. Because I actually was asking him if I could get an art piece of the two of us, and he was like, surprise! I was wanting to do that anyway. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So, yeah, we're blessed. We're very grateful to have a wonderful community. And my favorite part about it is that it keeps on growing and I get to meet new people. And
any art that you see on our show, by the way, it's always fully accredited down there. If you scroll down below our video, you'll see everything down there.
I do my best to spend as much time as I possibly can to make sure that it gets accredited. But with that being said, we do have... I have to go confirm it real quick, actually. Give me just 2 minutes. But we do officially have our custom URL back again. Thank you so very much.
That's fantastic. We were all worried about that.
We really were. There's a lot of benefits that come with the third tier level, and it's benefits that we're giving you guys more so. It's nice to have our own link, but it's also there's so many benefits like better audio, better video, etc. And it would just be nice to have it.
But I think on our way out here, Almark, do you have anything that you would like to plug? Anything you'd like to say? Present yourself a speech upon which you can place whatever you wish. Words of decoration.
I feel like I have so much space for activities now. No, it's gonna be a shameless plug, so hang on, buckle up. For it. House Raine is looking for more people. We're a very we're a newer roleplay group, but with role players that have been at this for quite a while. If you've ever been interested in it and you're not really sure about how to get started, by all means, we'll help you work through it. We'll help you figure out where you're at, how to play it, how to create a character. We rely on people's imagination for their own.
Thank you.
Hang on. What do you get? We got a gifting tier. Oh, you hit your 30.
My goodness.
We hit our 30.
Look at that.
You.
Much appreciated.
Cheers.
Right.
So much cheers. Thank you.
There you go. Lift the beer.
I'm small. I can only have so many.
You see, yours is comically large compared to your character.
Okay, so I will show you something later, but it's actually kind of funny. It's kind of to real life.
Here we go.
Yeah, she won a beer the size of her head, and doesn't really drink beer.
I was not very enthused by winning the beer the size of my head, though. I was like, oh, thank you.
She won it for me.
Hey, why is this not working?
Not on purpose, but
Yeah, I was like, here, you can have it. Please tell me this works. Oh my god, it does. Thank God. Okay.
Yeah, please continue your plugs. We got distracted by the subs there.
The plug is we're accepting of all comers. You don't have to be experienced. You can come to us, simply say, hey, it sounds fun, got no idea what I'm doing, and we will work with you for what happens next.
I can confirm this.
GB, for like the third time today, I will say she has found out the hard way that join the server and you want to get involved, we'll get you involved.
Yep.
Don't worry about that. We have time till the game goes live, so don't feel any time pressure at all. We're a very laid back group of folks. We're all 18 plus with full-time jobs, so we're not around here trying to min-max everything to death. Just come hang out, and you might find your new home with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds like a very comfy, cozy home, so there's that too.
You kept people in your chat, one of us.
Yeah, one of us. We basically dragged Chibi into our Yeah, you did. It's okay. It wasn't like against my will or anything. It was like you guys were like, you should try this, and I was like, okay, I'll try this. And at first I wasn't really. It was the Kool-Aid. I drank the Kool-Aid. At first I wasn't sure about it, but I was reading through their role plays, and it was just like up my alley from like I told you back when I used to do Guy Online days. It was right up my alley with that. Like they were on the same par as me with the type of role play that I like to do, and I was like, I can't. I lost myself to it.
Well, full disclosure, I didn't know you had the link to the server until I get home and I look down. I was like, I've never why is she in the? Oh God! Someone gave her the link.
No, I got it from the RP community, and I was like, click.
Oh, my first question was, oh no, have we chased her off yet?
Not yet, not yet.
I really appreciate you guys taking me on the show. It's been great.
Yeah, no, of course, we'd have you back anytime.
I might take you up on that at some point.
Honestly, I always say if there's ever a topic that you know is coming up, or if there's something that you think the community is talking about that we haven't talked about yet, absolutely be like, Chibi, get me on. I'd be like, you got it.
Yeah.
So
you're welcome back anytime. Just let us know.
Yeah.
Just let us know. We'll pencil you in.
Absolutely.
Have your people call our people. Like,
by our people, he means me.
No, both your people and our people being like Discord. Just Discord is the message.
Yeah, well, that's good because I'm gonna have to go find some people now.
Oh man.
We don't have people yet either, but it sounded like fun.
I ain't got people. I'll act like I got people.
Well, my favorite thing about this whole thing was learning that there might be potentially RP events in Ashes of Creation.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
So Chibi, did you have anything you would like to say in closing?
I just did.
Oh, okay.
God, such a bad partner.
My goodness.
I got him distracted. I'm sorry. I liked that there was roleplay events. That's all.
Well, those are certainly going to be a highlight of the future.
Yeah.
What about you, Vertec? You got something for us to close us out with?
I like that there's events. There are RP events. There are jungle events. There are... there's a blink happening. Oh, because we're reading over. And that one's broken too. But I'm going to have to fix that. But either way, thank you everybody for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for just spreading your words of anything in the chat and letting us respond to them. We love that part. We love when you just hang out with us. Thank you for the subs and the gift subs and the jeepers, the boost and the cheers and all the stuff that you folks have done today. We really appreciate it all. The greatest support you can possibly give us is literally just showing up and saying hello. So you went above and beyond, and we love y'all for it.
And on the topic of Dark Souls type games, I think you said this was one. A friend of mine is VTuber's live playing Lies of P, so I guess we're gonna raid over to that.
Yeah, Juby's a rat. He's a great fun, super awesome. So give him some love right quick from us.
He likes roleplay.
Yeah, he's a roleplay nerd too. And yeah, he's playing a new Souls-like game called Lies of P, based on Pinocchio.
Oh.
Pinocchio.
Yes. He's also interested in Ashes, so feel free to chat Ashes with him. I don't know how much he'll know, but yeah.
Here we go.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. You guys did us a solid by bringing me on the show, and it's been a great hour and a half. Man, God, time flew.
Yeah.
And that just closed us out into the raid.